Hey everyone. On today's video, we're going to take a look at how to find the x and y intercepts from the graphs of some different functions. So the first one we have is a linear function. Linear, we know, can only have at most one y-intercept and one x-intercept. I say at most because it's possible that it may not have a y-intercept or it may not have an x-intercept. This one specifically does. Okay, my x-intercept, we know I'm looking for where my line crosses the x-axis. Okay, so that's going to be this point right here. Okay, meaning that my x-intercept would be the point 1, 0, and my y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis, and that would be the point 0, 3. Okay, now we know linear functions, again, like I said, can only have one x-intercept because the highest degree of that function is 1. Now, the highest degree of just the general example for a linear function. Now, we know a quadratic function, just in general, that's not this function up here, but it is y equals x squared, and then there's obviously different forms to write it in. But we know that that has a degree of 2, meaning that it could have possibly 2 x-intercepts here, and this one actually does. Okay, we see that it crosses the x-axis twice, both at 3, 0, as well as -1, 0. Alright, and we also have a y-intercept. Again, we're looking for where it crosses the y-axis, which is this point right here, okay, which would be 0, -3, and that would be my y-intercept. Okay, again, the degree of a function tells you how many, or the maximum amount of times that your graph could cross the x-axis. Okay, so that is the kind of like the idea behind that. Let's look at another couple. Okay, so here we have a cubic function. We know a cubic function in general is to the third power is the highest degree. So again, that's telling us that we could have 3 possible solutions here, 3 possible x-intercepts. We do have 3 here, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so I have the point, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's -4, 0. I also have -1, 0, and here I have 2, 0. So I have 3 different x-intercepts for this one, and I have just that one y-intercept right here, and that's going to be the point 0, -2. Okay, and again, just a key, if it's a cubic function, we know that at most it could have 3 possible x-intercepts, but again, it could have 2, could have 1, could also have none. It's altogether possible. Okay, and absolute value. Now, we solved absolute value functions and equations in the beginning of the year, and we know that they could have 2 different x values because it does split into 2 solutions, a positive and a negative value, because it's an absolute value, it has 2 solutions. Okay, so again, this one, even though it doesn't have a degree of 2 necessarily, it does have a possibility of having 2 different solutions, because again, this could be x, and it could also be -x. Okay, so there's 2 solutions to these kinds of questions, or 2 x-intercepts. Okay, so in absolute value, this one we have 2, so that's going to be 3, 0. That's one of my x-intercepts. I also have -1, 0. That's going to be my other x-intercept right there. Okay, we also have a y-intercept. Okay, so that's going to be 0, -2. All right, so again, depending on the function, it could cross your axes more than once. Again, it depends really on which function or which type of function you're looking at. But this is a couple of different functions that we see here.